Okay. Hello Summoners, my name is Habi Luca, and in this video we will be doing a new series I'm planning on making for the channel. It's called Unit Reviews. And some of you have probably seen these types of videos in the past. I'm basically just replicating the idea while using a system of my own that will hopefully make things go smoothly. So for my version of these unit reviews, we will be reviewing these units based on their skill sets and art, as well as how they would play out in the three main game modes of FEH: Arena, Ether Raids, and Summoner Duels. For each of these modes, there will be a respective host to discuss the build, and they will give a score of 1 to 10 based on their insights and knowledge of the game. We will also add bonus points for the unit's art from a score of 1 to 5. The average of the 3 scores will be taken at the end. The hosts for these unit reviews will change every month. For this session, the hosts will be me and my other 2 acquaintances. For my hosts, please introduce yourselves and what mode you will be discussing.
Hello, I am A-OK, and I will be discussing Arena.
Hi, I'm Marissa, and I'll be talking about Ether Raids.
Alright, thank you for that. As for me, I will be discussing the unit's viability for Summoner Duels. So, we have 15 submissions on file to review. All of these are submissions from my Discord server members who wish to have their units reviewed. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the first one.
Alright.
I was the first to speak up.
Oh, Jojo!
Alright.
Jojo, introduce
Ready to
yourself.
go?
I didn't have a specified thing. I was afraid to speak up.
Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jojo. I'm the guy who's like just gonna give wildcard commentary. I'll comment on like all of them, but not as much.
Alright, thank you, Jojo. I keep forgetting about him.
Oh my god!
Alright.
Alright.
Well, I guess we start now?
Yep.
Alright. Starting up, we've got AK's Black Knight. The description they gave: this is my Black Knight build. He is built as a mixed phase tank, and I use him for all PvE stuff and occasionally AR. His role is to be the main initiator / tank for the team. He can prevent follow-ups while often doubling himself with his speed, guarantee an ether if he doesn't kill on the first hit, tank both melee and ranged units as well as hitting them back because of DC, and run at the enemy because of Assault Troop. Aside from what he brings to the table, I built him also because I love how imposing he is in the original game, and I just really love his voice lines and special quotes.
Right. Very nice. Alright, let's talk about Arena now. Okay, are you ready?
Alright. In Arena, I'm just gonna say this now before I expand on the rest. You can make basically anything work in Arena. It's very easy to make something work. And a build like this will definitely work in Arena. Obviously, you're missing out on the uniqueness of the Black Luna, but against most units, Black Knight here should be able to double, get the damage reduction from both Devourer and Savvy Fighter on the enemy face, counter and live hits, and for the occasional player phase Assault Troop.
Alright, is that all? Do you have anything to add?
I don't have anything else to add. I'd say for this Black Knight, that's a good 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Okay, thank you very much.
And in terms for AR, I think it's pretty good. Like, it's pretty standard. Like, I've seen a lot of Black Knights run this build, but like, it works every time. So, you know, it's kind of worth it to run. I think like having a rally in AR isn't kind of like that worth it because you can just get those buffs from someone else. You might want to go with like pivot or like drawback, reposition. So then like you can like just kind of get him into the right position and like help tank things. I think having him run on like Astra Season, like even though that's what he is currently blessed, I think that would be good because then you can get like things like World Breaker for support, and then also like Elamine's DR, and then you can just kind of like stack a bunch of DR and then just makes him really hard to pierce through.
Alright.
And yeah.
And what would your score be?
I'd say 9 out of 10 as well, and then like probably 3 out of 5 for the art.
Okay, so Summoner Duels wise. So Arcane Devourer is definitely one of the best sword inheritables in the game right now, and Black Knight is an interesting choice because he is an armored unit and his only form of movement is going to be Assault Troop. So for player phase, he's going to be relying on that Assault Troop, except for against teams like with Legendary Mirror and Gatekeeper, he can't really initiate against those. So that's really a main weakness that he would have. And he's also like kind of like a raid boss unit because like you can push him forward with Legendary Eliwood support and perhaps Legendary Robin as well. because I've seen like this one player. I think you've seen him before. Is like his name's BRK Knight or something, and you're right.
Oh,
Yeah.
is it the guy who just smite bots a Black Knight forward?
Yes.
That guy?
Mhm.
Yeah, the menace.
Yes. He also runs Winter Black Knight as well. So they run like a similar role with Arcane Devourer, having NFE with Savvy Fighter, and typically he would have a special like Armored Beacon, just to like survive special Spyro like ranged units, because those are very, very common. Actually, those are everywhere, like Duo Asker, Duo Crom. Those guys will almost always have special Spyro 4, not special fighter, sorry. So a special like Armored Beacon might help BK survive, but of course we also have to worry about armored effectiveness, because those things are always annoying, like Legendary Hinokas and Duo Croms. Those are like the main menaces of summoner duels. But regardless of that, I guess the only thing it's missing really is the special, the Armored Beacon. It would have been perfect if that was the case, but because additionally Ether as a special in summoner duels isn't really that good, because like it has a lot of special cooldown, and it's rather hard to like dedicate all your support just to charge up a single Ether that you can't even loop reliably.
By the time you get it, like either you're almost dead or they're almost dead. So.
Yeah, it also doesn't help that since it's 4, you're at best hitting a foe who's maybe below half HP, and that's usually the biggest weakness of Ether, even if you can charge it easily.
Yeah. But I'm gonna give the person the benefit of the doubt that they're probably not running this BK as an SD unit, so I'm gonna give this a 9 as well. As for the art, I'm gonna give it a 5 because I love Black Knight.
Oh, I forgot to give an art score. I'm gonna give it a 4 for art.
Okay.
I'm gonna jump in real fast. I've actually got a chat-related question.
Oh, yeah.
Someone has asked, should BK get a Resplendent? What book do you think it's gonna be based off of?
Book 5. Personally, I want him to be in book 5.
Yo.
Yes.
Yeah, he could make that work.
Yeah.
And also, it's also recommended maybe trying to figure out how this would probably feel in like a PvE situation, like Abyssal stuff. And I gotta say, this thing ain't dying against enemies, bro.
No, this is
Yeah,
not
he's
dying.
not gonna die.
You
Definitely.
swap out Savvy you give him Armored Beacon and you swap out Savvy for like Special Fighter 4, he is not going to die.
Yes,
You can put him
exactly.
against anything so long as it doesn't have armor effectiveness. Maybe that might kill. I don't know. Because Abyssal is kind of inflated.
No, they have to be a blue armor effectiveness,
Yeah,
and
you
they're
never
still
know,
not
'cause
this
Abyssal's
scary.
Abyssal is kind of inflated though. They'll hit you with
They
that
are.
stat just a little bit, one up, just to kill that Black Knight. But in terms of PvE, yeah, this will just sweep like almost 90% of the game. No contest. In PvE, I guess I'd give it like a good 9 out of 10. And art style, I still have bad memories of Black Knights ruining my run, so I'll give that a 5 out of 5.
All right, Jojo, thank you for that. All right, moving on, we have
We have-
Aina.
This is Aina, my favorite unit. Her main objective is to tank and then deal enormous damage in retaliation. I use her in every mode except AR, because I don't play AR. With Unity and Legendary Male Robin support, she tanks well most of the time. You can go and roast her build as much as you want. Any criticism to make her build better is welcome. Yes, I also just want people to see Aina.
Respect.
She has an arena build with a higher scoring special, which is Ether, and a Rally Plus skill.
All right.
So, yeah, that's the build. From an arena's perspective, this is gonna work. Arcane Grima is by far, I think, the best arcane weapon we've gotten so far. It's super simple, it works on every dragon, and with the Legendary Male Robin Unity stacking, nothing's breaking her defense. The even defenses really help her out. I know Gas has attack res Unity on her, I believe, which means that no matter what, she's going to have an insane defensive stat, and the retaliation kill is going to be impressive. I'd say I would also give this a 9 out of 10. And for the art, I love Kaya 8's art. This is a 5 out of 5 for me.
And so for like an AR perspective, I think she could work really well like on either Astra or Light Season. So if you did Light Season, then you could like pair her up with like Asker, because then he like gives that resonance shields effect where like the first combat that she's in, like the foe can't make a follow-up attack. So then you could like run something instead of menace. You could do like attack smoke 4, because then you can get like the foe cannot make a follow-up attack like every single time after that. And then also having units like Ash and Peony, you can just kind of like warp her up and make her you can make her a raid boss. And then for like Astra's season, you can run her with like Thor, because then you get the world breaker effect, so she can have like a bonfire like trigger every single time. And then I wouldn't really make any other changes to like her kit except for like just putting attack smoke 4 on her to make like the best of it. I'd say like it's an 8 out of 10, and then I also really like Kaya 8's art. I'd say like it's a 4 out of 5 for the art.
Alright, for Summoner Duels, first off the bat, I have a special opinion on dragons, to be honest. When I see a dragon with a respectable resistance, like for example this Aina has 49 resistance, I'd want to give her a scowl effect. And for that, the reason for that is Summoner Duels is a very brutal game mode, and it's primarily centered around attacking with your specials fully ready. So for example, if this Aina was against, let's say, a duo Asker with Special Power 4 Bonfire ready, if she had Scowl, then she could, potentially stop that and survive.
Which is unfortunate, because Gas does not have a rail.
Yeah, but...
That's all you need, basically, in that A slot.
Yeah, that's understandable. But, yeah, just speaking from personal experience, because infantry dragons don't typically do very well if they don't have Scowl of any kind, or really any dragons don't do very well if they don't have Scowl, unless their support base, like Fallen, who was it? Fallen, the one that gives NFU. No, the other one. The one gives NFU. Fallen Lilith. Fallen Lilith. I forget. Yeah.
So she's flying.
Yeah, she's meant to be just a support unit to give NFU and also activate Legendary Eliwood's bonus doubler thing. But yeah, for this Aina, it's good, but I'm gonna be brutally honest, I don't see it going very far, to be honest with you. Because like it does need a lot of work, and it's unfortunate that you haven't summoned Rey yet. But if you have, I highly suggest that you give her Scowl, because that's gonna give her a lot of edge. Because you have like Vital Tiki, who has innate Scowl. You have Ascended Tiki. You have Brave Tikis. Basically all the Tikis out there. They're very annoying because of the Scowl parts, and it's good. That skill is good because it stops specials and lets you survive things much better. Besides that, I like the choice of the Dragon's Wrath 4. It works very well combined with Arcane Grima. It helps her survive things. Attack Res Menace, I don't really like Menace skills in general because of Legendary Robin. That guy just scares me half to death. If I run a Menace, they're gonna get even more powerful. So yeah, Summoner Duels wise, this is just my personal opinion. I give it a 7 out of 10. As for the art, I like the art. It's very cute. It's very stylish, and I think it fits very well for her. I'd give it a 4 out of 5 as well.
Alright. In terms of like PvE, I'm not really a big dragon person anymore. The only dragon I ever really used was a base adult Tiki. So I never even got Arcane Grima, so I can't say how good that is. But judging on this build alone, it feels like it'd probably handle a lot of good content. It looks like you put a lot of work into this character, and I commend you for that. But at the same time, it also feels like you can't just throw him in, even with Robin. She might just die because she gets jumped or something. So, in terms of PvE build, I'd say that's pretty good. Gas said they can throw her in except against effective damage, which I guess makes sense. It is kind of built for that.
Yeah. Which is nice.
Red dragons have a history of being tanky somewhat.
Yeah.
So I'd give it a good 8 out of 10, and the art, I'd give it a 4 out of 5 when based Aina.
Alright, Unit 3.
Goes Banner Wen, better known as Goncho, with their Valentine's Fae. This is my Valentine's Fae, my second favorite unit as I love Echo's and Toby art style. She is built as a far save and is currently my best, and only. But she still does a great job at tanking. She isn't used for any specific mode. She has Unity for Robin strats, Special Fighter 4 for staying power so she can stay alive and heal, Special Charge and Guard, and because Hardy Fighter is the lamest skill ever.
I agree.
And no, Gancho, she cannot use Hardy Fighter 4, because she can't even learn defensive specials. They're currently waiting for Atana to give her the Arcane Lestroned and also Deadeye. Apparently, she still does some okay damage.
Here's the build.
But again, from an arena's perspective, paired with Robin, she's not gonna take damage. Def Res Unity, yeah, she's not gonna get she'll get the attack res, so if she gets hit by a chill or like a smoke afterwards, but she should be fine overall. Healing is appreciated. Of course, once you get that Arcane Lestroned, I would also recommend either, once you get that, I also potentially looking for Armored Flow, just for that extra bit of DR, because Lestron's 30% is nice, but 40% from Flow's Unpierceable is amazing, especially in a mode like AR, where things can just come out of nowhere if you're not ready for it. I'd say right now, this build, it's a good 7 out of 10. I love the art as well, so that's a 5 out of 10.
Just another thing to add on for Arena is that since she isn't at max merges, she can't get the possible highest max score. So it's not really worth using her in Arena unless you don't have that many plus 10s. Also running something like a dual rally and then Aether, stuff like that will help boost up her score. But yeah, that's it. The rest, the 3 ABC skills she has, those all score the highest for Arena. Not a lot of people know that far saves score the same as tier 4 skills for armoreds. But going back, yeah, it's pretty weird, but also pretty good. But going to AR, I think she'll be really good on a defense team if you run Legendary Robin and then with a Catria Ball, because then she can trigger her far save, but she can also attack. 60 attack is pretty nice, and then she also gets the instant Moonbow because of Special Fighter 4, and if she gets the Brave effect from Bride Catria. And then yeah, just running her on any defense or any offense, really, Astra Season is great because you can run Elamine with her and get 30% DR on top of the 50% that she gets from Courtly Bow is good. But I'd say that change the distant defense 3 to a defense res form or something like that, just to get a couple more points. I'd say the build is an 8 out of 10, and I really love Toby's art, so I'd give the art a 5 out of 5.
Summoner duels, right off the bat, Courtly Bow over an arcane bow like Nastron, or is it Nostran? I forgot how you pronounce it. But
Drone, I don't know how to pronounce it.
I forget. But it's definitely
Slow Bow.
What?
Arcane Slow Bow.
Slow.
Slow
Anyway, I'm curious though as to why they chose Courtly Bow over every other inheritables out there. But if I had to guess, it's probably the 50% DR, because since she's slow, she's gonna be probably always gonna be receive follow-up attacks, so she can at least reduce the damage from the first one as a far save, which is a very crucial slot for a team. I honestly wouldn't say this is that good. I'm so sorry, but I have too much experience in summoner duels, and I am very critical of certain builds, and yeah, I think we can pretty much agree to the fact that Courtly Bow is, there's better options for that in terms of far saving, definitely. For one thing, it doesn't have slaying, and it also doesn't have a lot of strength as well. So in terms of retaliating back against far range threats, she's not probably gonna kill most of the time. Special Fire 4 is I like that because of the guard effects. I think all save units should have a guard of some kind because it really helps them survive against things like lethality builds or legendary Hinoka's Deadeye, because those are very deadly.
Yeah.
Distant defense, I think it's better if you give her defense res form 3. I think, like, in terms of summoner duels anyway. But the good thing is for Valencia unit, they have really busted harmonic supports. Like, for example, Harmonic Sonia, Bridal Catria. Those guys are gonna be in every single Valencia team out there. Also Duo Duma, but he's a duo unit, so I don't really think that counts. But yeah, you can make use of really strong harmonic units out there with this unit. Like, she can quad, probably, with Bridal Catria's help, with Guidance 4 and stuff like that. But yeah, in terms of like going farther, like going up the upper tiers of summer duels, it's a very iffy stance for me, so I would give this a 7 out of 10 as well. But as for the art, it's amazing. I love it. I give it a perfect score of 5.
In terms of PvE, I'm not too sure about it. I think it'll probably work well, especially when you get that arcane, whatever you want to call it, Tana's bow.
Tana's bow.
Yeah. I think I get what you're coming from with the courtly bow though, and the far save, given that, again, she'll get slow, she'll get doubled, and that special fighter will come in and she can probably kill with the moonbow right after. So I'd say it's a good 7.5 in enemy content. Will probably do a lot of good, but only if you have some way to keep her alive and above the HP threshold. In terms of like GHBs and stuff, if she gets below 50% and you don't have a healer, she starts slacking a lot, especially because she loses that effect on her bow.
Yeah, I do want to say one thing. Special Fighter 4, as much as I love it, there is better options. Honestly, once we get Crafty Fighter 4, I would say that is going to be the new Armor B skill, as much as Special Fighter 4.
Yeah.
The problem is that you're not going to heal that much. You're getting 30% of the damage dealt. You're getting the like Legendary Ephraim's original Solar Brace on top, and unlikely to fully utilize that. I have like 3 units with Special Fighter 4, and all of them I don't use it because I have better options in the B slot for them.
I mean, you gotta give them credit though. I mean, there's not really good options for bow armors at this point.
Honestly,
are like melee.
I mean, there is Wyvern Yumi that could work as well as a additional weapon, since it's the defensive dual-phase Brave Bow. That could be nice.
Yes.
Plus, that would, if you ran that with Vengeful 4 right now, that would get you your quad and potentially prevent the foe from even attacking twice.
I think the whole far save part is the reason why they're running the Courtney Bow, because you know, far save, they attack first, damage reduction, versus far save, they attack first, full damage.
Yeah.
I agree.
Right now, bows don't have good defensive. You got a lot of good speed bows, but Nostron is the only good defensive one, really.
All right. Jojo, what's your art score?
Yeah, I'd say art score, I like Faye. I wish she was treated a lot better in the games, had a lot more supports. I'd give that a good 5 out of 5. Needs more meat though.
All right, thank you for that, guys. We have Cryoshal's Dimitri. All right, let's go.
Yeah, a Legendary Dimitri. Legendary Dimitri. My ace and Summoner Duel teams and my go-to for any team I make. Running Lewin plus Close Call 4 instead of his perf gives me more survivability as well as the same amount of damage thanks to the bonus neutralization on Lewin. I dubbed him a Godlance. Built him because he was my favorite lord in FE3H. Nothing much besides that. And
He killed his childhood best friend and took her lance.
yeah, well, she's rearmed. She doesn't die.
Right.
Oh, right. Well, he stole her
Yeah.
lance.
Yeah, obviously for arena score-wise, I mean, you could keep Close Call 4 because I think that score's the same as Atrocity, probably better. But you'll have to go back to Arid Bar, which does mean you get 2 layers of DR, which isn't too bad. Guard Seal, I get what you're going for with Guard because of finish, and you're mitigating a bunch of damage, but it's kind of weird. I would probably just go more attack speed And for Panic Smoke 4 is a little bit weird. You're not gonna have Vital Astra up at all times unless you've got pre-charge support and you don't kill in your first round. And with that much attack and the speed true damage, he's likely to kill. So I'd say that would be better as ×4 in Arena at least. But overall, this build will work in Arena, and that's a solid 9 out of 10. For the art, I can't give that more than 1. I can't look at it without getting offended by it. It's just they did it so bad. That's the official 3H artist.
Right, yeah.
It is?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it looks like that. It's so bad.
His head is too big.
His hand doesn't work.
So for like AR, you're pretty limited to use legendaries. Like luckily this month, since like legendary Guinevere just released, you can use him for like the entire month of July and still be able to like get the max score for AR. But like this is a pretty like basic Godlance build. Like I'm sorry, but you kind of just see finish Vital Astra, like a DR4 skill like on every single like melee unit now. But it still works, like it's still pretty good. But yeah, as AOK said, I'd switch out for ×4, or if you want to like max out the damage reduction, then go with Speed Smoke 4, or like just set him up with Noah instead to get the dodge skill at the start of turn. Guard is pretty unique too. Like I'd say maybe just if you want to like use him as a raid boss, as like he said, then go with something like attack speed form, like attack speed defense ideal for the seal. And then yeah, like just kind of stack him up with like bonus doubler, stuff like that, and you can just send him in and he can take hits. And like I think he'd be pretty good on Astra season, because then you can get World Breaker effect and also DR from Elamine. I'd say the build's an 8 out of 10 just because like you mostly see it everywhere. And then like the art, I can't give more than a 2 out of 5 just because like it is not that good, unfortunately.
I'm gonna start with the art. It's pretty terrible, I agree, but except for the Isla portrait, I think the special art is pretty good to me. I like this. I like his special art, to be honest. It's pretty good. But this thing in front of me is just terrible. So it's like a 5 minus 4. So it's just a 1. I'd give the art a 1 as well. It's just so devastating that the original artist would, you know, mess this up, especially his hand with this lens. It's not even holding it right for some reason. You would think the official artist would do a better job. No offense to the official artist, of course, I have respect for them, but come on, man, it's Legendary Dimitri, it's everyone's favorite lord. Anyway.
Everyone's?
I think so. I would say. Or maybe Claude, or it's either Claude or Dimitri.
I believe in Claude's supremacy. Thank you very much.
Yes. Okay, for the summer duels, I know Cryoshal. I think I've faced this Dimitri before. I don't remember who I used against him, but for the guard 3 effect, I think his rationale for this, because you know I use Brave Lucina with this almost exact same skill set. I'd say the guard part is probably for Altina's. You know, Altina's Refine is pretty busted, and there's not a lot of units who can survive her. Like if you have 46 defense, like even that is not good enough to survive Altina's with how she is right now. She's really busted. And if you give Dimitri guard, he can potentially prevent like twin blades from activating during enemy phase. Besides that, that's the only probably the only reason they'd give Dimitri a guard effect. But yeah, like AOK and Marissa said, this is a pretty standard Godlands build. I see it everywhere. We see it everywhere. Like all God units pretty much use Close Call 4 or some form of Tier 4 DR skill. And then Finish 4. It's really either Finish 4 or Distant Attack Speed solo. It's either one of those two. Panic Smoke 4, I'm not really sure what they're going for. Maybe they're supporting him with Duo Asker or something. Because we don't have a support right now who can provide some kind of special spiral effect. If we did though, then you can probably swap that out, but we don't have that right now. So I guess Panic Smoke 4 is for very specific reasons that I probably don't know about, like for certain matchups maybe. In terms of support, surprisingly, 3 houses don't have a lot of like great harmonic supports. Like we have Summer Edelgard, who just gives bonus doubler. That's it. And then we have
Other than attack.
Dorothy?
Harmonic Dorothea, who just gives like a second dance,
Resonant
basically.
Shield.
Yeah, Resonant
Dude,
Shields for both
it's
as well.
It's so bad. I don't understand.
Yeah, both harmonics are not that good, to be honest, and you don't see
Yeah.
Harmonic
Any thoughts
Dorothea
about-
a lot.
Any thoughts about Winter Lysithea though?
Oh,
that's the
Lysithea.
unit, right?
Um,
Isn't her harmonic skill the exact same as Edelgard's?
She-
Attack plus 6,
she-
bonus doubler, and then
Resonance Blades. She gives Resonance Blades
Yeah,
instead.
oh my god, I forgot how bad.
It's. I mean, Lysithea used to be good, but not anymore because you know we have far saves that are literally unkillable.
Yeah.
And she was in the hero class, that counts for something.
She was like
Oh,
she was like an alternative for duo Corrin. It was either Corrin or Lysithea that you would see back then.
I mean, but then it's just Corrin because we're getting at the point where everything's too fast. So get
Yeah.
Corrin with her guaranteed brave versus Lysithea with her, what is it? She has to be 10 points faster to get brave. If she's not 10 points faster, she just gets a guaranteed follow-up before the foe can follow up.
I
Which is
believe
a whole thing it's done.
I believe she gets Desperation as well if she gets like only
A
plus
Desperation?
5. Yes, Desperation effect. It's like a brave effect, but not really. So yeah, it's either Desperation or a brave effect, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, support-wise, it's really sad that the 3 houses don't have a lot of supports. Like, I use Legendary Edelgard in Summoner Duels, and like I don't have any options like besides Summer Edelgard to give her bonus doubler. That's it. I don't have a lot of options to choose from, and that's the sad truth. But I think it's just mitigated by the fact that a lot of 3 houses units right now are really strong. Notably, Rearmed Ingrid. Like, I think Rearmed Ingrid is absolutely busted. She's crazy because of her A skill. Even though it neutralizes penalties, it grants a lot of stats and as well as healing. And Kanto on an A skill, which allows her to run Guard Bearing 4. So she has both Guard Bearing 4 and Kanto in her kit. That's why she's so good. She could also run like Speed Defense Rain Snap, which gives +1 movement to infantries and other armored units. It's just that good. So which is really weird because you'd think that a God Lance would do better than a Flyer, of all things. But I guess until we get Legendary Dimitri's remix, this is the best we can give for him. I'd give this because I see it all the time. I'd give this a 7 out of 10 as well. But for the art, I already said it was a 1, so yeah.
Alright, in terms of PvE, this thing will not hesitate to kill everything in its path. I see that 70 attack stat, and geez, I am actually kind of scared for the enemies. Especially with that speed, it looks like they're not going to be taking any damage from enemies anytime soon. So I'd say, yeah, this does good for a God Lance. I actually haven't seen them in Arena, because somehow they always die, either that or just really low in Arena tiering. But in terms of the art, I honestly have to give it a 2, only because the injured and special parts carry it for me. The idol sucks, but the special and injured just carry it up to 2, at
yeah.
least. The build, I guess standard God Lance, like y'all said, pretty unique with the Lewin and the Close Call. I kind of do miss the Atrocity. Other than that, I'd say that's a good 8 out of 10. Won't die.
Any additional comments, guys?
And here, just gotta hope that Dimitri's remix is actually somewhat good, because he's just gonna get 4 more stats in his weapon, maybe some form of NFU, and we don't know what else.
Atrocity 2, if opponent is Edelgard, they die.
I'd like that.
Well, I don't know how I'd say about that because I use Edelgard. But anyway. Alright, moving on to Unit 5.
Reviews. This is Roy, my best boy. His main characteristics are based on his high speed. Thanks to that, he can tank some blue units and survive dragons' attacks. He's prepared to counterattack, reduce damage, is effective against dragons, and has 3 damage reduction skills between weapon, skill, and special. I use him in all modes, and I always put him in a team with Legendary Robin, and also can inflict extra damage.
Can Can I get a Roy's our boy in the comments?
Roy's our boy.
Definitely both. For Arena, obviously this is no merge. This is, clearly it was one time yet. But so if you were to use it, it's probably a last ditch effort, unfortunately, for the fire season. But overall, Royce does score not terribly thanks to his duel, but the main thing to focus on is the kit. I know Ruby is aiming to get I believe a dodge 4 skill onto the B, because they've already got Vital Astra, attack speed finish. Attack speed form is smart since he has to be within 2 spaces to get human virtue to even proc, which is kind of an annoying C skill. I wish it was 3 spaces, similar to his harmonic with Elliowood.
That
would have.
Is it Spurn?
That is Spurn 3.
Alright, I figured.
Yeah, so upgrade that to a dodge 4. That'll help. Roy's biggest problem is he has a DC refine. He gets special charge, no guard, and all stats +4, and he also has dragon effectiveness. Biggest problem is he's not. He's got a good amount of speed at no merges, just speed boon is 47. That's not terrible. The biggest problem is that other units are hitting that with no investment. He's not getting as much stats, and he struggles to keep Vital Astra up at all times because no slaying. His C slot is also occupied. It just really hurts, but I do think Vastra is going to be his best special. I've seen people try and use godlike reflexes. It's just they usually die on the first hit because they're getting outsped, and they're relying on the C skill DR instead.
Yeah.
Overall, I hate to do this because Roy used to be part of my Fire Arena core when before I got Hinoka. I'm gonna give this like a 6 at most, unfortunately.
All right.
And for the art, I'm gonna give it a 3. It's pretty generic.
And so for an AR perspective, I think it's pretty good. It's pretty simple. As Ruby said, she's running it with Legendary Robin. So you can just kind of make him a huge stat ball and just kind of stick him in the enemy lines for offense. I think if you want even more damage reduction, then put him on Astra Season. And then I don't think he'd work really well with defense unless it was Chaos Season and you just kind of put him into beta enemies. But DR piercing skills will just run right through him. So it's just kind of hard to build around that. But having a tier 4 DR skill will help because as AOK said, so many people are now reaching 47 speed without easy investment. So you need that for him to double, and I think attack speed form is really good on him because running a breath skill is kind of redundant as he already has that in his weapon. Yeah, I'd say the build is a 6 out of 10, and I really like this art to be honest, so I'd give it a 4 out of 5 for the art.
Summoner duels wise, I've seen legendary Royce out there. There are dedicated legendary Royce users, and most of them, actually I think all of them, use godlike reflexes, and I think there's a good reason for that. One, Vital Astra is not consistently looped unless you use special spiral 4, which is kind of impractical on him because as a god sword, of course you'd want to give him a tier 4 DR skill. It also has tempo, which is a very interesting thing that he has, tempo plus breath. So ideally, I think if you don't want to run a tier 4 DR skill on him and his B skill, you can give him physical null follow. So he would have both tempo and null follow up, which are basically the elements of fast units nowadays. You would need both to be successful for the most part. But for the most part, he would need a lot of support to even survive the slightest offensive teams in SD. This build is gonna die to a lot of things. I don't really see him surviving a lot. So he would require support. Binding harmonics. We have Harmonic Katria, and we also have Harmonic Roy. So Harmonic Roy isn't that good in SD, unfortunately, even though he gives Treachery, which is a really good skill, a bonus. And he also gives a 3-range version of Legendary Roy's C skill, basically.
Yeah, its Faith in Humanity is it's 3 range, but he gets tempo.
Yeah,
if 2 or more allies have 10 bonuses. Stats. It's
But
really good for a cav, but he's a cav.
Yeah, and they're still both racist. They don't like dragons and beasts.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would not say Roy is terribly good unless you invest in him heavily.
Yeah. Roy's definitely struggle in ST. That's why you don't really see him at all.
He also just gets erased by the neutralize foes bonuses effects.
Yeah. We have lull speed defense right now. Lull speed defense 4, and he's not gonna survive any of those strikes. But yeah, it's a pretty decent build, maybe for a casual match. I'm sorry, Ruby, but I'm gonna have to give this a 5 out of 10 for ST. As for his art, I actually do agree that it's very generic for some reason. It just looks like a generic art. It doesn't look legendary to me, to be honest, except for his special art, which is all the flame effects, which is really cool. But I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5, the art.
In terms of PvE, I'm actually kind of scared to say it, but I don't even think this is gonna go that far in terms of the newest things. Because while I was waiting, I actually opened up the new Zephyr. At the time of this, she's the newest GHB. And there is a green thief with a speed of 45 and Hexblade. So already that's bordering on where Roy is. He barely gets it, but that thief gets boosted. Roy's not taking anything. He's going to get blitzed. Not to mention Zephyr herself has 51 speed, so...
Oh, and also Panic. Don't forget Panic. This guy does not like Panic at all.
Yeah, Roy can be buffed in any way. He's kind of...
No, he hates Panic specifically because unlike his father's legendary, he doesn't provide null Panic. And he needs his allies to have bonuses for him to actually get his DR and his extra stats in combat.
Yeah.
He crumbles under Panic. And Zephyr, we just got Zephyr, who literally has like the mark range Panic. He's not making it through against the Zephyr.
Definitely. Yeah. It's very unfortunate of how outdated he is.
Yeah. He has the unfortunate benefit of being an old unit whose remix and refine was DC related. So I'd have to give this build for PvE, I'd say it's good up until around mid book 6, because that's when that's when the speed meta starts kicking in. So I'd give it about a 6, maybe a 7. The art is cool. I like the art. It's very faithful to the series, so I'd give that a 4.
So, any other additional comments, guys?
Nope.
Right. We're moving on to our 6th.
Roy's our boy.
Roy's our boy. Alright, number 6. Retro's Summer Tharja.
Summer Tharja. She's not the greatest, but I like Tharja a lot, and favoritism first, baby. She deals with God Swords pretty damn well, reaching around 100 in effective speed without support. As a tome cav, she doesn't have too many options for skills, but she works pretty well with Dual Lin, allowing her to ignore trenches and get NFU too. I love this. This weapon is so good. I will say one thing, Seashell Bowl, I think, actually does contend against the future Arcane Blue Tome, unless it does significantly more. Even with a lack of slaying, the fact that it's basically 15 attack speed for free is insane. It's really good. I mean, she might struggle to, like, on the upper echelons of speed against god weapons, but she might, like, miss a little bit of, like, they might get a little bit of DR, but overall, she's going to, it's kind of like the Allure effect, where she's going to have a good shot against other fast units purely because of the massive speed res penalties she inflicts with Seashell Bowl. Overall, you know, for Arena, obviously we don't have an Arcane Blue Tome. You'll give her a Rally Plus, give her something like Ruptured Sky in the special slot, because honestly, I don't think you're going to go Ether. Blue Flame is rare as hell, and that's not even good. Remote Barrel works well. It helps her live a bit. Plus, 52 HP isn't terribly bad on a cav. Obviously, because far traces don't score like a tier 4B, you'll have to swap that out. I'd probably say something like Seal Speed, maybe I don't know. I don't have other options. I don't use calves terribly much for Arena. Attack speed menace works. You might have a hard time triggering that if you want to attack at her max range of 5 spaces. Blade Session is standard. Overall, a good build on a really powerful unit. I didn't even realize that's 67 attack. Jesus Christ. I'd say that's a 9.5 for a unit. It's just, you know, the beat slot needs a little bit of changing because until the fact that traces don't score too well, especially just like she can't use too much. I don't know too much about ranged calves, but I'd say 9.5.
Yeah, to be fair, most ranged calves, as pointed out, don't exactly have much better options for B skills other than trace. So it becomes a matter of utility versus points.
Brash Assault 4 is an option as well, but I think Seal Speed 4 would help her and just slowing down her foes. Art, I'm going to give this a 4.
Really?
I like it.
Man, okay. AOK is hard to please.
I am hard to please.
Just another thing to add on for Arena is that, like, if you want her to score, like, I think the max you can score with, like, a dual skill is 756. So if you want that, you need to give her, like, the B dual cavalry. Yeah, that's only on Ash right now.
Summer Ash, yeah.
Yeah, like, she only has 168 BST, and then, like, the dual skills score 180, so, like, it's really needed for her if you want to use her for Arena. But, like, for AR, I think her best bet is to do, like, a cav line for defense. Like, as he said that, like, he supports Tharja with, like, Kadea and Lynch to get the no follow-up. So, like, if you do a cav line, then, like, it's going to be really hard to cut through all that. And, yeah, like, as AOK said, I think, like, Seal Res or Seal Speed 4 would be best. And, like, I'm not a huge fan of Menace, but, like, on ranged calves, there's not really any other good skills you can use. So, like, yeah, maybe stick with Menace, and then Blade Session is good for that, too. And, yeah, I'd say it's a pretty standard, pretty good AR defense build to go with. I'd say, like, an 8 out of 10 for the build, and then, like, a 3 out of 5 for the art.
Man, you guys are hard to please. I'd give this art a 5 or a 10, actually.
No one is down bad.
I mean, it's really good. It's based off her promotional art from Awakening.
Yeah, I know. From Awakening, yeah. I know that.
Yeah. I love her art.
It's not actually promotional. I think it's in-game, right?
I think it was like part of a voting thing.
It was for DLC.
Yeah.
It was for the Summer Scramble DLC. The 4 most voted Gen 1 characters all got a special CGI image with them.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, it was Cordelia, Prom, Gaius, and Darja.
Yep. So yeah, I'm just gonna say that for the art, a perfect 5 out of 5 for me. So for Summoner Duels, we all know how broken Awakening harmonics are. We have Harmonic Cordelia. We have Spring Sonia. So those two are like the backbone of a lot of these teams. Like I can see
that Spring Sonia has Darja in it too.
Yes. So like it's just very fortunate for a lot of Awakening characters that they have a lot of good supports for Summoner Duels, and I can see this Summer Tharja thriving very far in Summoner Duels because of those supports. But I would go as much as say that she's very hard carried by supports though, because this build alone isn't really gonna do her a lot of favors unless, you know, she has those supports. But without those supports, she's definitely gonna struggle against far save units. Like we have Bridal Tiki, Young Hector especially because she's blue. Like this thing is like Tharja is not gonna survive an armored beacon even with Remote Sparrow, because Young Hector is just that strong and bulky. But with the right support though, she can definitely thrive. And again, for the Menace, I really don't like Menace skills because of Legendary Robin. I hate it. I prefer her, like, I think she would do better if you gave her, like, I don't know, Panic Smoke 4 or Infantry Speed Tactic for supports and stuff like that. But other than that, I'd say this is a pretty good build. Honestly, I can see this going very far in ST, so I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. As for the art, I already said it's 5. It's perfect.
I'm not really a big Tharja person. So I'd say this looks like it hits hard, does outspeeds like a lot of the game, especially with the blade session in Remote Sparrow. I don't see her ever getting doubled unless the game just says nah. So I'd say she does good. I'd rate it about a good 9.5 actually, just for the dedication to the plus 10. Add those dragon flowers to max and it's 10 for me. For the art, I'd give it a, for the meme, I'll give it a 4 because it's missing a cape.
Alright. You guys have any other additional comments or?
This is what Groom Robin should have been. Not 46 attack on 1 unit. Like, he got shafted so hard, and then you get Summer Tharja just a bit later.
Well, he's getting 2 busted alts this year, so I think it balances out.
All I really gotta say is the reason why range caps don't get anything is the result of Reinhardt and his consequences on the FEH community.
Reinhardt's legacy.
Yeah, we still feel their pain this late on.
Magic truly is everything.
Alright. Moving on with our 7th unit, we have Katria from AIM.
AIM's Katria. My Katria. Mainly use her for fun in Arena. She's mainly for player phase, but works in enemy phase too, since she's pretty tanky. Sweet, short description. For Arena, you know, you'll have to go back to White Wing Lance as much as slaying with the most conditional Brave we've had so far. Give her Rally Plus, Ruptured Skyworks. You'll have to give her B-Dual Flying, I'm pretty sure. You'll have to swap her B skill to a tier 4. Both 4s fine in C, though I think overall you're probably better running her with other units, so you can run something like Soaring Guidance or Guidance 4 on her. Speed Def Catch works. Overall, you know, she's a fairly tanky unit. She does suffer from old unit having a lot more HP than she should have. But I will say the most interesting thing on this kit we see now is Dive Bomb. And I understand why, because you're going to initiate, you're probably going to double, and then first hit, second hit with Ruptured Sky. Only problem I find with Dive Bomb a lot is it's got a weird condition. It's also just not that good because you're not getting stats, and we're at the point where if you're not getting stats from a B skill, you're not going to be doubling, you're not going to kill, you're going to miss a lot. I do think overall this build is really good. So I'm going to hit this one for an 8 out of 10 for the unit score. And despite me loving Katria, I really want to merge her up. I don't like this art. I'm gonna say it's a 2 out of 5 for art, on my opinion.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how I'd see this working in AR. Like, maybe if you wanted to do a Gale Force, like, Wings of Mercy build, it could work. But, like, if you really wanted it to work, you'd have to put Guidance 4 on her and just kind of, like, warp around. Like, if you gave her Guidance 4 and, like, put her on a defense team with, like, Guard Bearing 4, she'd be able to tank some hits pretty easily. But, like, yeah, she has more HP than she should need, and, like, she needs more defenses, really, to stick around. I don't think she can, like, work well in, like, an AR setting. I'd say, like, 7 out of 10 just for, like, because it seems that this person really likes Katria and, like, just heavily invested in a Gen 1 unit. And then I also agree with AOK, and I'd give her a 2 out of 5 for the art.
Summer duels wise, definitely for the B skill you'd prefer Guard Bearing 4. I mean, you'd want Guard Bearing 4 on any melee flyer nowadays in SD. You don't really see Dive Bomb for the reason that it doesn't give extra stats like AOK said. Like Guard Bearing 4's minus speed, -4 speed, -4 defense. That helps a lot of fast flyers out there gain that necessary speed to double like a lot of the God Swords we have right now. Besides that, Arcane Lewin is pretty good. Like Arcane Lewin plus Guard Bearing 4 is gonna make any flyer lands busted in summer duels. Like, and if you give her like something Guidance 4 or Soaring Guidance, that's gonna make her a support build as well. Like I've seen legendary Sidas with Arcane Lewin and Guard Bearing 4, and she cannot die against, like even if I use legendary Edelgard, I cannot make a dent against those units. I just die. because of that true damage, and they usually run either Ruptured Sky or Luna, which this Catria has. I think it's really good. The dive bomb I think is more of a liability for me. But other than that, it's pretty good. So we have Bridal Tiki. Who else?
Bridal Tiki, harmonics only?
Yes. I think that's the only support she gets, right? Just Bridal Tiki?
There's Summer Sheeta,
Oh yeah, Summer Sheet as well. Yeah.
which is just the dance effect, and I think Resonance Blades.
Yeah.
I don't think this.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is not Valentian Catria. This is Mystery Catria.
If it was Duo, you'd have Winter March, but...
Well, Duo can get everyone the effects. I don't think she gets. She gets. Duo Marth is armor and flying.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I thought.
Wait,
okay, that's.
we forgot Duo Lind from the Mage thing.
Oh, right. Daneland.
Oh yeah, Kaden.
That could also-
Right, yeah. I think
There's Resonance Blaze, Dodge, and Slang Effect.
yes. Kaden Lin is definitely the best for her because she gives dodge and stuff like that. Maybe
Yeah,
Bridal Tiki
gives
as well. Bridal Tiki gives what was it?
The neutralize units penalties and neutralize foes bonuses.
Yes, so both of those guys are gonna be like her best harmonic partners because of those.
Yeah.
For a far save, definitely though, you'd want to use Bridal Tiki as well. Yeah, I don't really see a lot of Catrias in SD. I just see her alternatives like I said earlier,
Yeah.
Legendary Cetas, Rearm Ingrates. They pretty much function the same. It really just depends on the available support units that you have. For Catria, I'd say the support she has from Bridal Tiki and Harmonic Lin are subpar. It's not excellent, but it's also not too bad. So, I guess I'd give this a 7.5 for SD. As for her art, I really have no emotion towards this. I give it a 1. Yeah.
I forgot.
Just like the character.
There is one. Wow.
What?
There
That's her
Come
gimmick.
on.
I forgot though. It's another Tiki. It's actually Harmonic, Ninian, and Young Tiki.
Oh, that's a unit.
I just forgot what.
Yeah, I didn't even remember.
What does she do?
existed.
She has the dance effect as well, like
Yeah.
Summer
She's
Sheet.
the dance, right?
Forgot she existed.
That unit literally went over my head. I
Same.
could not tell you if that was a unit in the game.
But in terms of PvE, this feels completely like a whole, not kamikaze unit, but definitely full blitzkrieg. You know, you just go in, you kill the enemy before they can kill you. You know, the best defense is the great offense type of deal. I feel that she definitely benefits best from the support though. There's probably dancers run with this so she can escape safely, because she goes anywhere, she dies. Anyone touched her, they breathe on her wrong, she's dead. I see like no defense.
Yeah, she doesn't have any DR on this build.
I will say the funny thing is, you could run her perf White Wing Lance since it's slaying with Dive Bomb. If you trigger it, you could have a quad, but that's still really hard to pull off since you need 2 additional flyers within 2 spaces of her while she's initiating a combat.
Yeah, I guess that's why they went full blitzkrieg, because until her Resplendent comes out eventually and gives her that 60 attack and 50 speed, I'd say this gets a good 5 out of 10 for the build for me. This is the basic offense build. Dies easy to basically everything, but also kills things super easily. Artwork, I remember Catcher's art being a huge meme when the game dropped because of reasons. But I'd give the art around a 3. It's grown on me, but it's also wore out on me, because I hate seeing it when I'm summoning her.
Alright, moving on to our 8th unit right now. We're almost done, guys. Halfway there.
Halfway.
Alright, we have
Alright.
Blues Arthur.
Archer, a save monster when paired with anyone with Grand Strategy. How does he work? Activate Grand Strategy, put him between his allies, and click end turn. Not the most innovative, but it is what he's made for.
Yes. Monkey Brain.
Alright.
Very monkey brain.
The classic use Robin to win strategy. I respect it.
I mean, yeah, when you've got Snow Globe and Attack Def Unity, you effectively got double attack. You got triple attack Unity, and then double Def Res Unity, effectively overall.
I'm seeing that squad ace though. That's unique.
That's attack def. That's the attack def one. So and it's HP plus 5. So it's not terrible. The big thing here again is the attack def. You're not going to get the def bonus because of too much attack res. I will say that as an armor, even at not max merges, he won't score worse. Obviously, merges will help him score better. As a far save in arena, he'll do fairly well. Especially, obviously, rally. I am a big advocate for no matter what, just running an armored special, be it beacon or flow. Obviously, if we get an arcane green tome, it'll be better. Hopefully, that gives him the follow up, so maybe he can. Because honest, I do think still vengeful 4 good. I do hope that we can get a crafty fighter 4 soon, because that skill, the guard, preventing a foe's follow-up and getting your own follow-up is really good on one unit. Obviously, and besides that, you've got max scoring, seal, and everything. It's really just merges and then getting a better, like a rally and a higher scoring special. But overall, that Archer is going to hurt no matter what. So I'd give it like a 8.5. And I do like the art a lot. That's gonna go for a 5 for me.
So I'd say that Archer is pretty good on any season really. If you want to use him on light season, then I'd say keep him near Asker, and then you can swap out Glimmer for something like Bonfire, Iceberg, because then you get the Times Pulse from Asker, and then you can just basically get an instant Iceberg or Bonfire. I'd say everything's looking good. Maybe do something like swap instead, because then if you're running light season, then you'll get the warping effect from Peony, and then maybe choose something like a form skill like defense res form instead, or defense res ideal, maybe even mystic boost. And then for AR defense, he's gonna be unpierceable, especially on chaos season, and far saving is much more apparent than near saving and defense as well. So I wouldn't really even change anything. If you want to go even more haywire with the defense, then select defense res unity instead. But that's all I have to say. I'd say maybe go with more merges on him to score better in arena and stuff, but it's pretty good. He has very high defenses for a Gen 5 unit. I'd say a 9 out of 10 for the build, and then a 5 out of 5 for the art.
Alright, Summoner Duels. I love armor tomes in Summoner Duels. I love the concept of them being far saves. I've seen a number of tome far saves out there, and with the availability of Armored Beacon and Armored Flow, they just became better in my opinion. If you play a lot of Summoner Duels, you just get sick of the obvious picks, for more TAs, Bridal Tiki, all those really busted far saves. But if you see that one of a kind, 1 in a million, Archer, far save Archer, it just really lights up your day. That's just my thought process about it. So that's why if I encountered this Archer in Summer Duels, I wouldn't be mad if I lost to it. If I could, I would use this Archer for my Joshua team if I had him. But the only thing I would give him though to make him work better is, like Marissa said, defense res unity. I think it's as a far save, your job isn't really to kill or retaliate back. You just want to survive and protect your teammates for the most part. And defense res unity is your best bet against threats let's see. I don't think this is gonna survive a dual Chroms though, but against other things, it's definitely gonna be a really good counter. Especially with Legendary Robin. And and maybe give him, I think I mentioned Armored Beacon, Armored Flow. Snow Globe is really good because it gives attack res unity, I believe. And
it's the attack res unity tone.
Yeah. So I guess he was going for a mixed tank, but guaranteeing that yummy plus 70 attack or something after he gets the grand strategy from Robin. And yeah, it's really, really good. I actually really like this, except for the fact it doesn't have armored beacon. I think that's the only thing it's lacking, really. So besides, after all that, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. And then as for the art, I think it's really cute. I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, in terms of this build, I like where it's going, especially because it's stated that, hey, Robin's a key part of this. Throw him in, he should be tanking everything from fire safe, and that red step does not lie. I'd say it does good for PvE style, especially when it comes to all these new range units. If it's an armor effective red bow or something, red mage, anything that's armor effective, he does get like murked or at least hurt really badly from it. But in terms of everything, I'd say he does do good defensive-wise against majority of the range content nowadays. So I give this build for PvE a good, I'd give it a 9. Just like they said, add that armored beacon, it would be a 10. Because I don't really see a downside to it except for that one special occasion where they get effective against. As for the art, I don't know about you, I gotta give that a 3. Something about the eyes is staring into my soul.
Alright.
I can see.
I will say that like there's also Harmonic Mirror, who gives out like the foe cannot make a follow-up attack effect to like all of her allies. And I think that would be pretty good because like literally every unit in the game is going to end up doubling him. So I think that would be a good support unit as well.
I would also give the extra layer, because Vengeful 4 plus a foe can't follow up. Even if they have their own unit makes a guaranteed follow up, they still have to break through that second one or have NFU.
Just like you guys said and someone in the chat brought up, armor effective units are becoming a lot more common. And the most common ones you'll see nowadays are both red, being Legendary Hinoka and Valentine's Crown, which is what worries me the most, because again, green far save unit, they'll do heavy damage to him irregardless of what he's got.
Yeah,
So that's what's holding him back. If it was a blue tone range, then I don't really see the issue. But green, there's a lot of inflated red stuff. Red swords, red range, and they're all getting armor effectiveness of some sort. There's also Brave Crom and, you know, the new Legendary Crom with their little funny gimmicks.
So Legendary...
Yeah, but Brave Crom is a mistake. Legendary Crom is half a mistake.
I agree.
What's up with these Croms and just being busted on release?
It's because they said, hey, let's give them an effect that just doesn't have a cap.
Yeah, for some reason, Brave Crom, Legendary Crom don't have limits to their weapons.
To their bonus penalty effects. Meanwhile, you get Legendary or Young Elliewood, who's like, oh sweet, I can get up to like 17 attack speed, death res. Yay.
that's about all. Yeah.
Just like you see your stats, you see those stats. Those are mine now.
Those are mine, and I am now hitting plus 30 to all stats.
We have Unlucky who's next.
Unlucky squared. A fairly straightforward build. Whitecap bow plus Yingvi Ascendant means that as long as she hits the speed requirement, she can hit the opponent 4 times and potentially trigger Deadeye before they can fight back. Hexblade allows her to target the foe's res, which is helpful in case the foe has heavily invested into def, like Brave Dimitri. Oath and Pivot are primarily there just for the extra movement it provides. I will say this, unfortunately, her Holy Youth or Divine Yufel is just not as good as Whitecap. I was one of the first people who gave her Whitecap bow, and it's really good on her. Genuinely one of the better bows she can equip. Obviously, this is a mythic. You're not using a mythic in arena. Now, if you were, obviously you go perf, rally, and you've got enough skills there. But obviously you're not going to bring her to arena for, scoring reasons, because light mythic, and that's stupid. But this unit will kill things. You could bring her during Arena Assault, because Arena Assault also does use the mythic blessings for the extra little bonus points you get. So she definitely can work in there. But again, this is going to hurt, because quadding before the foe can counter on a unit like her is really good. I'd give it, it's just, you wouldn't use it in arena, but say if you were to use it in arena, I'd give this a 10 out of 10. This is actually genuinely a 10 out of 10 though. Art, I do love this art. It's gonna be a 5.
I'd say that Uller is stuck in like a pretty weird place because like I've heard many arguments that like even though she's a mythic, like AR isn't the best suited for her because like she's an offensive mythic instead of like a supportive one. But like I'd say if you don't want to like keep on stacking attacking speed, then you can go like defense res smoke to provide that Pathfinder effect on light season. But like it's also really good paired up with like citrine because I'm pretty sure you can give that hexblade effect to anyone. I'd say that like maybe you kind of just want to make her generic, like stick with the arcane dark bow, and then you can use like tempo or something instead in her B skill or like a seal speed, and then you can use that for like chaos season. Because say if you gave her like dark bow on like a Catria ball for chaos season defense, then like you can have Asker there to get like the times pulse, and then like stick infantry rush on him, and then you can just get like the dark bow to trigger like Deadeye twice in a row within the 4 attacks that she makes. And then you can also put like that defense res smoke on her, and then that just makes like a completely like just basically a wave of like her allies can go in and like snipe other enemies after she's attacked, because she's definitely gonna kill everything in her way. I'd say yeah, that it's really good. Unfortunately, like Whitecap doesn't have the slaying effect, so you can only trigger Deadeye like a max of once as she's attacking. But yeah, I'd say that it's pretty good. Like she does need a remix, even though she's like only 2 years old, but she does hit like a truck. I'd say 8 out of 10. And like a lot of people really praise Rika Suzuki, but like I'd say that her art is hit and miss sometimes. I'd say a 3 out of 5.
For Summoner Duels, in the early stages of the game mode, I've seen Ullers dominate the mode. Like some of the people who reach the highest tiers of ranked, they use Ullers with Legendary Atri, Ascendant Fjorm, and Dual Core and stuff like that. You know, the early dominators of Summoner Duels. And Uller is very, very strong because of her B skill. Her B skill really carries her. And Whitecap is definitely what she would use over her PRF because of the quads. I think the only thing that she lacks right now is true damage. Like, without true damage, she's most of the time, like with our new modern far saves, it's gonna be a 0 per hit. Like, I'm not lying to you. Like, a lot of far saves nowadays, they get insane amount of stats, and without true damage, you're not gonna do anything. And they even stop you from activating Deadeye altogether because this set doesn't have tempo, and that's gonna be a huge problem for her. Because you know, you have Scowl, you have Special Fighter 4, Stan's 3 skills, and a bunch of other stuff. Like the new A skill from Duo Emir also grants guard, and if you give that A skill to something like Bridal Tiki, she gets guard plus 5 HP and then even more defensive stats. And this Uller unfortunately is gonna struggle against those types of far save units. But besides from that, like barring the existence of far save units, this build is definitely gonna kill a lot of things. Like I can see her killing maybe Lucia's. It really depends on the build. Like if it's just unfortunate that genealogy, I can't say it, that her game yes that doesn't have a lot of great harmonic supports. You have
does it have 2?
Leaf.
We've got Leaf. I don't know.
Leaf
Is
and
there
Dorothea.
another one?
Dorothea.
There's Dorothea.
Yeah, those
Dorothea. So you get a dancer
and a desperation effect basically.
Dang, I was gonna say Lynn, but Sarah's from Dorothea, so.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, you got 2, and Leaf is not that good unless you're doing Cav line, in which you don't have enough slots for Uller. And Dorothea, there's Robin. You're not running Dorothea since Robin is running amok, giving everyone grand strategy, turning your -6 into +6. Annoying.
Yeah. However, though, if I could make a suggestion, if you really want to run Uller, I'd say the best shot you've got is to run her with Bridal Catria or Cordelia, and give her back her PRF, because that has more strength, more power, and also has tempo. And trust me, you're gonna want tempo for your ranged nukes 100% of the time, because again, a lot of far save units out there in SD, especially in the higher tiers, are just brutal. They are almost literally impossible to kill. So aside from that, I have very high opinions on this. I really like it, and I really love Unlucky's dedication to it. He talks about Uller all the time, and I praise him for that. So I'm gonna give this a 9.5 out of 10. As for the art, I love the art. It's honestly one of my favorite, if not my favorite, light mythic arts in the game. I give it a 5.
In terms of PvE, this does feel like one of those, again, units that's just total blitzkrieg, right? You go in, you toss them in, units, enemy is dead, right? You don't think, you don't strategize. Hey, I'm gonna take this unit with high attack, I'm gonna buff him up, and I'm gonna kill that other guy right over there. And if all goes well, you survive. I do like the concept of Whitecap Bow and Ascendant, because again, quadding is always fun. I don't see her surviving though if she gets surrounded by anything, which is key. Because again, reinforcements is a big issue, right? You gotta think about survivability with the GHBs.
He's gonna need dancers, definitely.
Yeah, they need dancers. They need dancers and probably Robin too. Dancers to get her out of danger. Because she kills someone, they never. Reinforcement comes up and just bonks her over the head. That's GG.
Yeah.
So, in PvE wise, I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. It's great offensive potential. Not so good defensive potential. The art is I really like the glow. Like, you can't really minimize because it's not yours, but she's got a little yellow glow around here because, spirit. And I really like that about all the legendary Gen 1 FE4 units. So that makes it a 5 for me. All in all, me making it out the quest mode with this one.
Alright. Flochiana as Cecilia.
Oh yeah, as someone just said, a far save might work good with Aura too.
Yes.
Just to keep her safe. I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright.
Cecilia was my queen of anti-meta back when Summoner Duels first came out. Brave Erica, Fallen Edelgard, and Yuri were dominating the SD meta. Close Flail allows her to counter non-magic melee units, plus gives her some attack def boost. Mystic Boost 4 allows her to counter flying healers, and to keep her healthy enough for quick riposte. Seafeud doubles down on her Grand Raven effect, especially when there are so many strong colorless support units like Fallen Maria, Ascended Alencia, etc. And Glimmer gives her attacks a little extra oomph to get the kill. She's starting to show her age now, but I love her nonetheless. Her Resplendent is so pretty. Very much. This is a clear, I hate colorless and blue unit. You've got Tome of Order, which is Grand Raven with Triangle Adept as its refined. It also has flying effectiveness, which does mean, flyers that are blue and colorless aren't gonna like fighting this one. Quick post, I think.
Oh god.
Yeah, Tome of Order has effect against flyers, which is pretty nice actually because she's one of the few Raven tomes that got that. I just saw Flax has stuff for Arena. Prefers using this build. Obviously, for Arena scoring, it's a rally. It's high scoring special. G dual cav, tier 4. C. I don't know if QR3 scores 240. Does it?
I think so.
Maybe, I don't remember. But yeah, overall, this build will work. It's got its niche. It's gonna do what it does best. A red unit will crumble her. Obviously, she's got that nice bulk overall. I give it a solid 8 out of 10 for its unit score, and the art is very pretty. I very much do like it. It's a 4 out of 5 for me.
I will say that this is like the most unique Cecilia build I've seen. I think it's pretty good overall, but I'm not sure where to place it for AR, because since it's mostly a defensive build, it won't work on AR defense, because someone can just plant an enemy in, say if they just plant a Lucia, then Cecilia's gonna attack her, and then she just can't survive against God Swords. But I'd say that maybe using this on offense would be pretty good, because then you can deal with the cav lines pretty easily. She can probably take out dual release and other units like that. I'd say like maybe change up her like special to something else, like maybe iceberg. But there's nothing really else I could change. Like if you wanted to use her on a cav line for defense, then maybe like select AR or AD catch instead. But like that's all I have to say. I'd say like a 7 out of 10, just because like her build is in a wonky place for AR, and then like a 5 out of 5 for the art.
For summer duels, I think Flochiana is just having a lot of fun with this unit. I don't really think it's really meant for summer duels, but if she were to use this build in summer duels though, I can see this Cecilia just tanking the hell out of a lot of staff units nowadays. Like she'll probably take on Fallen Maria, Ascended Elincia's dual Elise, no problem, because she does have that color advantage against them, and she can also nullify their flash effects.
But can she tank your Joshua?
That I'm not sure, because Mystic Boost doesn't really stop other forms of sweep besides flash effects from stave, so probably not. But
She might.
Next time.
Not the worst of. I mean, 35 defense as a tome cav, a Gen 1 tome cav, with this much investment, you're gonna lose another 4. You're losing 20% more, or it's a 40% difference for the. She might live around against the Joshua, unironically.
Not to mention again, Raven Tome effect, TA, and Colorless Feud. I feel
Plus,
like
you got the attack -5 from Mystic Boost 4, so she does stand a chance, I think.
wow, Flochiana, they really want to see the matchup for some reason. But yeah, you guys might be right. But yeah, she's gonna be really strong against a lot of staff units. And aside from those though,
according to Submitter, she will kill Ascended Joshua if she initiates.
oh yeah, definitely. Joshua doesn't have any
Yeah, Joshua
defensive
has no
stats.
bulk.
Yeah, nothing. He has nothing. But where was I? Oh yeah, staff units. Just a really good counter against staff units. I don't know what the close foil is for. Maybe against colorless beasts or blue beasts or
Yeah,
lances. Maybe.
They said it.
Well, this build was used back when Summoner Duels first came out, so it was for like Brave Erica, Fallen Edelgard, and Yuri.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's kinda against them.
that is.
So it's for the
They
extra
said-
bulk.
They said it. Yeah, they said they're doing it for like the melee units just to give them the extra attack and defense boost as well.
That is
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, I love the concept. It's very unique. Like I am a huge fan of like these types of builds. I have a huge bias for these. Because I'm just really sick of what you would typically see on like a lot of range cabs. Like they just go for just pump attack speed on all of their skills that do nothing for everything else. So for this build,
Yeah.
it's really fun. I love it. But practicality wise, you gotta admit it's not really meant for going up to the higher tiers. Maybe just for fun against specific units, just busting them up, laughing on their face. Specifically Fallen Maria's Ascended Elincia, though Elise, those types of units is really good against them. So overall, it's a really fun build. I'd give this a 9 out of 10. The art is it's I don't know, it's not that good to me, to be honest. I'd give it a 3. I'm sorry guys.
Oh no, man. Cecilia, how you have fallen from one of the most needed units for a horse emblem that's dominated the game to just being someone that people send home as soon as they get. I have to applaud you for even building her still, and the dedication is incredible. But for this build specifically, its gimmick will not get you far in most PvE things. The attack is good if they don't have damage reduction somehow. If they do, she's not doing anything. If they're not colorless, she's not really going to do much against anything nowadays. So she has her niche, she feels it good. But against PvE, which is a wild card of what you're going to see next, I would give it a 4. Because you're not going to see much chances to run her. Maybe that one thief that you just pesky and you just use her to kill while everybody else sweeps the board. The art though, I do like the art. Cecilia as a fairy person, it's cute. It's nice. I'd give it a 4.
For the art?
4.
Okay, thank you.
Really, it's 4.5.
Alright, so I've gotten a comment about my build score for her. I did say 9 out of 10, and I do have a rationale for that because okay, I play a lot of SD, right? And what you see in SD is a lot of the same thing over and over again. And a lot of the highest tier players out there use the same exact units with the same exact build. And even though you are aware of the meta itself, it just goes to the point where you're just sick of facing it every single time. Like, even though you want to praise it, like, oh, it's really good, but you just end up hating it. You know what I mean? Like, like it's really hard to. It's just really, really hard to, you know, like, just give them a good opinion. Like, you already know how busted it is, but if you're just gonna comply with the meta itself, you're not really being creative enough as a summoner. That's just my personal opinion. And that's the reason why I give it a 9. But that's a lot of that component comes from the fact that I love the creativity. That's why I gave it that kind of score. But if you want me to be extremely critical though, I would give this a 5 out of 10 because we already know it's not going to go very far. But the creativity is just mind-blowing to me. Like, it's meant to counter staff units, the modern staff units with flash effects. She's not going to die to Fallen Maria. She's going to kill Fallen Marias. And we already see a lot of Fallen Marias out there. And that part to me is what I like best about this build. I hope that...
Fallen Marias, Fallen Eogards, anything that's
yeah.
colorless.
It's just
colorless blue, she's not going to die on that first hit at least, I think.
Yeah, it's just a really fun build. But yeah, it's for the build itself, it's going to be a 5. But for the creativity though, I give it like a huge boost. That's why I said it's a 9. I hope that clears things up. Good? Are we good? Bueno?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Alright, thank you, Floxiana, for your Cecilia. It's beautiful. Alright, Brave Seliph from Astrid.
You got Astrid's Brave Seliph. This is my Brave Seliph right now, and I'm happy with it. I gave him Seal Speed 4 to compete with a lot of Speed Godsword, and it works. He can one-shot plus 10 Summer Fjords, plus 10 Aleers, and plus 10 Fallen Byleth, without triggering the preempt as well. He's the strongest unit in my barrack, and my savior in ARD Chaos/Anima season, as well as in Arena. Rudy? I mean, that's a Seliph build, yeah. He's got the rallies. Does he need our dual cav? He might, right?
1 second.
I think he's just barely out of it, if I remember correctly.
He's got Rupture Skies, that's a big deal.
He has
Yeah.
179 BST, so
Wow.
he does have a super boost, so he can reach the 180, so
Okay,
he
so
doesn't
would
need
just
it.
he doesn't need the R duel. That's good, though.
Alright,
Yeah,
so
but
real quick,
this-
before I start thinking about it, what's his gimmick besides the fact that he can survive on 1 HP?
So if he has to move to get anything from his weapons, he has the +1 move from C slot and attack speed +6 with NFU, and every space he moves, he gets 10% of more of the foe's def as true damage, up to 40%.
Okay.
This
So
unit
he's gotta use
will
everything.
yeah, basically, as long as he's moving around the field, he's killing stuff, because this unit just doesn't die, and he does a crap ton of damage. A lot of damage. In Arena, you're gonna encounter a fair amount of blue armors. Seliph will put a hole in that. He is going to hurt, because 40% of your def as true damage is insane. Obviously, he's currently Anima Blessed, but if you were to use him in Arena, you'd give him one of the respective Arena blessings, but he's still going to work, and with his Black Canto too, he's going to just go in, kill. Obviously for Arena, this build here will probably a one and done. He's going to kill maybe one thing, maybe two if he can get the one shot, but after that he's kind of just tapped out since he might be too low to trigger his Miracle. He's already triggered it once. But overall, it's a good Seliph build. I'd give this a 9 out of 10.
Is the Miracle conditional or is it just free?
Miracle is as long as you're above 25% HP. It's really good. As long as he's moved one space and above 25% HP, which is I think about 13 or 14 HP in this case at +10 with 5 flowers and the summoner support. Yeah, he's gonna be, and he's also got 44 defense, 49 with his weapon, which is still a good amount of defense. I'm gonna stick with my score of about an 8.5. It's generic, but it's good. And the art I'm gonna give it a 4.
Yeah, as AOK said, like he is going to destroy anything and everything in his way. Definitely his best use is like on AR defense. Like he could run a cav line. If he even wanted, he could run it with like legendary Sigurd. Because like then if it's on like Astra season, you either have to choose between shutting down legendary Sigurd or shutting down legendary Seliph. So like if Elamine shuts down Seliph, then like Sigurd can just proc his special and then Seliph gets that +1 movement again. And like, yeah, just absolute. I can't even name like a single unit that can definitely cut through or even withstand Seliph. I'd say like offense could work, like if you want to do like a Gale Force team, but like definitely keep him on defense because like he's definitely going to like save your team every single time. The build is pretty good. I would say that like maybe find like an outside source of healing. Like Blaze Session is good. You can run like Mystic Boost if you wanted. But yeah, like if you want to run something like Legendary Guinevere or like Saline to get that outside source would be pretty good. Or even if you just want to like stick Noontime on him, it would be really good. But yeah, Clash, Seal. I've seen a lot of people put LOL Speed Defense 4 on him. But yeah, I'd say the build is really good, pretty standard. It does what it needs to do, and he's untouchable. So I'd say the build is a 9 out of 10. And the art, I feel like it's kind of basic, to be honest, but I really love Sigurd's outfit, so I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
We already know how what a menace Brave Seliph is to summoner duels. This build is pretty much a 10 out of 10 for me. One of the best Brave Seliph players I've faced against, he uses LOL Speed Defense 4 like Marisa said, and there's a good reason for that. Bonus stacking is so common nowadays that getting the full effect of LOL Speed Defense 4 is not that hard, that like you will get -8 on both speed and defense fairly easily against anything on any given time in a match in summoner duels, and Brave Seliph is definitely one of the best users for that. His only main weaknesses is stall from like Duo Mark and Duo Thor. I think Duo Thor is more of a common.
But yeah, Duo Thor works better because she can apply it turn 1 in summoner duels.
Yeah.
Well, Mark has to basically do it turn 2 at best.
Yeah, if you have Duo Thor, you're basically forcing the Seliph to stay away from the slowest unit they have. So that might ruin their positioning. But a lot of the smart players out there, because usually Brave Seliphs are ran with cav lines, and the smart players really have good positioning on those. On turn 1, they're gonna separate Brave Seliph from their slowest unit, so he doesn't get stalled, and it's fairly easy to do that. So, and Brave Seliph as a whole is really, really tough to deal with if you don't have the right counters, and especially since near saves aren't common, far saves are more popular. Brave Seliph is gonna like wreck your day if you're not prepared for it. From my personal experience though, if you really want to deal with Seliph, like his miracle is really annoying. AoEs is probably one of your best bets against him, because even though you have special power 4, but if you're not faster, he's not gonna die. So AoEs, brave hits, stuff like that, and stall, those are really his main weaknesses. And but as a unit, he's extremely strong. Actually, he's downright unfair sometimes. That's why I score him a really high 10 out of 10. As for the art, it's okay to me. I prefer Legendary Seliph's art by far. It's a 3 for me for the art.
So what you guys have told me so far about Brave Seliph is that he's an absolute monster when it comes to PvP. But in PvE, there's the issue of, again, going in there, killing someone, and if you don't have support to get him out, reinforcements will tear him asunder. But if it's just a map like a GHB, where you can go in there, probably tank a bunch of hits, survive, and then run out, I'd say that still gets him really good, because I don't think anything's going to outspeed him much, unless they just play the stats. So for GHBs that have reinforcements, that it's situational. So I'm gonna go for with reinforcements rating and give him a good 7 out of 10, because he's a monster for PvP because they don't come back. But for reinforcements that do come back, you have to worry about, will they come in? will he be trapped? How far can you go in? And is it worth trying to kill this one person first and getting jump back video second? As for the art, I'd say it's a good homage to Sticker. But I'd also go with
Adding to that, I think for PvE, I think his best V skill is Mystic Boost 4. Like you can pretty much auto battle with him if you give him Mystic Boost 4.
Yeah, if he has a healing method, PvE he stops. But for steal speed,
It's not
that's the issue.
ideal for him.
Yeah.
Even my Salif has Mystic Boost 4 and he just wrecks auto battles. It's so funny to watch.
Yeah, as long any units that's self-sustaining like this or requires an HP requirement and they get a healing skill, it's curtains for the enemy.
Yep, pretty much.
Just don't let them get cornered, basically.
Yep. And sometimes the AI can be stupid and just parks Salif near the enemy where they don't have to move a space and they just ignore his miracle, so just be careful with that.
There's also, the blade session things, and since he's the strongest, don't want to move him first and not optimize.
Yep. Next is Tween. Oh, guess who his submission is?
Oh, I wonder who it is. We've got Tween with their +10 Citrine. While a cookie cutter build for the most part, Citrine is one of my favorite characters in general, and the fact that she makes quick work of almost anyone due to her insane damage output is fun. I run her with an infantry pulse user for the nuclear bomb Glacies. It's funny.
I bet.
And yeah, this is a unit who, with the Glacies, is going to hurt. Obviously, unfortunately, you would need ×4 to fully optimize the constant Glacie spam, but you're still good. If it hits once, I think you've done enough. Because, 80% of the res, you got 60, you get an additional 13, 18, 21, that's 81 res. You're killing something in Arena. Something is dying. And there's no DR to protect them. Obviously, Arena, I think you need to hit the G dual infantry, because I think homes don't score, the infantry range don't score too well. And then Rally probably could, honestly, she would like, Ruptured Sky, because again, she's already getting 15% of her res. Plus, but the big Glacie's nuke is very funny. I do think overall, this is cookie cutter. The whole thing is that she's just going to explode someone, and that's her job. And that's a very simple job. I'm going to give this build a 9 out of 10. The art, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah, I think that Citrine is definitely going to go under the radar just because of how much support she uses. And she's definitely going to be a menace on AR defense, and I think even essential at times, especially since they have her at +10. So using her as a nuke for Catria balls and stuff like that on defense will be really good. I think that her best choice is definitely to run her on defense all the time, because then as the person said, they have an instant Glacies effect. So you can just kind of quad. And then she'll always proc that Glacies if she's on a Catria ball team. And then also she just provides so much support for offense as well. And she can definitely take out those ranged threats on cav lines. I'd say that if you want to try to spice up the build a bit, then you can go with magic no follow-up and then something ×+4. But yeah, maybe something Mystic Boost would be good for the seal if you want to try something different. But yeah, she just all she has to focus on is one-shotting people, and unless you're facing against Fallen Female Byleth, she's going to kill everything in her way. So yeah, I'd say that it's a 9 out of 10 for the builds and a 3 out of 5 for the art.
Okay, Citrine, where do I even start? This season for SD Citrine, Headlong Rush. She gives GFU, Charge, and Canto 1 at start of turn 2. Busted right from the bat. The reason why it's so good is because she has Spring Sonia's effect of pre-charging her special at the start of turn 1. That's effectively pre-charging her AoE special. And in SD, AoE specials are incredibly powerful. They counter a lot of things. Like 90% of the time, they are going to kill. Even the strongest far saves out there, not a lot of far saves out there can survive AoE attacks. So if you give her like Special Fire 4, Times Pulse 4, or something like that with an AoE special, she's gonna kill those things very, very easily. But with Glaciers though, I can see it working well because she does have, well, that's 54 resistance. That's really, really high actually. So she might be able to escape the scowl checks from dragons, so she can probably like one-shot them no problem. Yeah, Citrine is right now anyway. She's really strong because of Headlong Rush, is that what it's called? Headlong Rush,
Yes.
because of the Canto and the charge. She can give that to basically all of her allies. Like I've faced during my SDS run, I faced one Citrine team and she gave everyone charge and Canto and it was a nightmare. I don't even know how I managed. I don't remember what the result was, but it was definitely a hard time for me. So if you face Citrine in SD with a captain skill that grants visible bonuses, you should probably be prepared for some kind of nightmare because she's really, really tough to deal with sometimes. So for this build,
We have to pick up his team from the hospital.
what? Sorry, Joey, did you say something?
We had to pick up your team from the hospital. They got smashed.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So for the build, I would give this 9.5 out of 10. If it was an AoE, I would probably score it higher. But right now, it's still really, really good because of the support she can give. And for the art, it's pretty decent. I wouldn't really call it amazing. Just maybe a 3.5 out of 5 for me.
Citrine, aka Special Spiral 4. No offense to you, Tweet. Her unique gimmick where she can just share everything, right? She can't share Pathfinder.
She cannot.
She can't share that. She can't share some stuff that really make her busted. But with what she can do, she is a valuable support unit. Will likely help a lot of players in the future. But as an offensive unit herself, it's looking like she's got a lot of good power on her. This is a recurring trend. She's just an offensive powerhouse with the support benefit of giving everyone a boost. Free Brave kind of situation, if you will. So I would give her, for PvE status, an 8. She's not living attacks, but she sure will nuke you if you get close. And for the art,
Wow. Okay.
Never even used her once in my engaged playthrough, and I at least gave her a 3.
Teens.
To be fair, to my credit, it's better than a 1. I like the art, I just don't use her. I like her.
Okay, fair enough, I guess.
I will say that like Elamine can't shut her down. So like Elamine can shut down the +6 attack res that she gives, but like Elamine can't shut down like the bonus giving that Citrine has. So like it's just gonna be really hard to deal with her on defense as well. But yeah,
Also,
that's it.
I did a check, and against a +10, a fully invested, like, plus res Bridal Tiki, who's, base kit, she will dodge the Scowl, so she will get to hit Tiki with the Glaciers. And she also out-reses her against base kit.
Wow.
Which means she's not gonna be too worried about it.
Yeah, she also gets true damage based off her resistance too, so her AoEs do even
More
more
damage.
damage. She's like Arvel, but like has supportive capabilities.
But green.
But green. Alright. So very good Citrine overall. Thank you, Tween, for your +10 Citrine. Alright,
It's gonna kill me.
Kyobie. Kyobie's do like.
Well, you've all seen it before, but here's my take on Young Ike. His weapon having in-combat special spiral, half a special cooldown, makes him very potent in terms of special spamming, especially for lengthy or cooldown specials like his own Radiant Ether. Combined with someone to charge at turn 1, for example, ally-supported Valoria or Duo Asker, makes him a force to be reckoned with alongside Special Spiral 4. This build was precisely made to deal with God Swords. While I do have Finish on him, I find Distant Dart more consistent for summoner duels as a sort of deterrent. Defensively, although his weapon has 40% speed-based DER alongside Speed Smoke, the speed creep not only made it harder to use effectively, but the advent of Special Spiral 4 makes Ike an especially frail class cannon.
I'm seeing a lot of this expensive stuff on him.
Yeah. He comes with Dart innately. He was the first unit with Dart. Spiral 4, that's before Citrine. I know that, so that's from Ophelia. I don't know where the Speed Smoke 4 is from, but this build will kill stuff. I am partial to Distant attack speed solo over Distant Dart because I like that dual phase, especially since his weapon is not locked to like an enemy phase. As long as plus he's got a generous force space condition for his weapon, which is immense. I would genuinely say that, like, you know, this is class cannon. He is right. Spiral 4 is pretty common, and even in arena, Ike might struggle to live the first hit. But if he does live the hit, I don't think anything is going to live his next attack. I'm torn. I understand the Speed Smoke 4, and obviously he's got his duo skill rating. I don't know if there's something better for him in the Speed Smoke slot, but obviously, you know, for arena, give him the rally, and you're good to go there. I'd give it a 7 out of 10. He's just gonna like explode if he just takes too much. But he's got a fairly good weapon. Art, I'm gonna give it a 3.5.
Yeah. As AOK said, like, I'm not really sure what is the best C skill to put on him either. Like, maybe attack speed oath, but I feel like speed smoke 4 is the most because his defenses are kind of shaky. Like, neither of them reach 40 base defense. So, like, DR stacking is kind of the way to go. But, like, Special Spiral is, like, really good. I'd say that's the best B slot for him. And Distant Dart is good, too. Like, Finish is good. If you wanted to, like, make him a bait unit on, like, AR defense teams or AR offense teams, then, like, keep Finish on him and stick him with a Far Saber. But, yeah, there's nothing else I'd really change. Bonus Doubler is pretty good. There's no other seals that are good with him. I just, like, maybe be worried about, like, him getting panicked or, like, debuffed by Legendary Robin. But, like, even then, he can take a hit, and then he's definitely killing everything if he's able to survive the first shot. But, yeah, Astra Season's probably the best choice, because then you can run both Elamine for the extra DR, and then Thor with the World Breaker effect. And then also Ashera gives, like, massive buffs. And then, like, with the +6 to attack res, no panic, I think Astra Season is the best choice. And then he's also able to use that dual skill too. But yeah, builds, I'd say 8 out of 10. I wish you luck on your merges next year when he reruns. And the art I absolutely love. I'd give it a 5 out of 5.
Okay. For summoner duels, I do know Kyobi uses Duo Ike as a frontliner. He is the captain of his team. I believe this Ike is ally supported with Veloria. So Veloria gives him -2 at the start of turn. So when Ike initiates, he basically charges his Radiant Ether to full. So that's going to be a null DR Ether. And I think that's his main selling point. But yeah, like AOK and Marissa said, in terms of survival, he's not going to be surviving a lot of things. Even with that innate 40% DR, he does need to be near, like, was it 3 allies, which is a very hefty requirement, in my opinion.
It's, yeah, 3. So if he's near with 1, he gets his, he gets the special charge. If he's within 2, he gets first hit DR, and it's not speed based. It's basically he'll just get 40% DR for free. And then if he's with 3, he gets null follow up.
Right. But I will say this though, his main selling point for ST is definitely his dual skill. His dual skill has more range compared to dual mark. Like, he can cancel specials in that box, and that entire box is gonna cancel everyone's specials plus inflict them with guard. He just lacks the isolation, but I think it's a very good compensation given the range he has. It allows him to escape like Hardy Fighter charged Far Savers, Near Savers, AoE charged enemy teams, basically a lot of special reliant teams out there, which is basically every single SD team out there. They rely on special charges. So Ike is going to be a really good counter against those. He's like
-7 helps a lot as well.
yes, the -7 attack and speed. Yeah, it definitely does help a lot. Because I used dual Ike as well, though I personally give him Kanto control for his C skill, because he's definitely one of the, in my opinion, one of the best users for it, because he acts as a support and also has offensive pressure thanks to his weapon and his Radiant Ether stuff. But yeah, but for this particular build though, I can see the direction, and I know the direction actually. That's why I think this build is ideal. Except for the C skill, I think a different C skill could be better, like attack speed Oath 4. I think that gives him the necessary speed he needs. But if they would want more survivability or flexibility of this build, you definitely want something like Close Call 4, just to be near allies and maintain that weapon requirement of being near your allies. So yeah, overall I give this, I'm gonna give this an 8.5 out of 10. And the art, I love this art. I think it's really, really good. I give this a 5 out of 5.
You guys can clearly see this is built for PvP, right? Because I can't see a survivor log in PvE at all. Especially because, again, I mean, I won't have to say that the friendship effect won't last long, because, you know, most PvE things, if one person goes down, the whole map goes. But I don't see Ike himself lasting long. He'll do a lot of damage. He'll speed up. He'll do a lot of damage. But he'll also die to basically almost everything nowadays. So for PvE wise, he's a good support. I'd give it a 6.5 PvE. Great offense, fantastic speed, fantastic offensive potential, and great support. Held down only by the fact that this build is catered to PvP. If he had Spurn or Close Call, something to help him survive, it would be a 9. But since he has no method of survivability and is basically pure support, that's a 6 in PvE. Art, I don't know. Seeing Ike's hair like that messes me up, but I will give it a 5 because it's cute. I miss the headband. I need the headband though.
The headband is important.
Yes, that ruffly hair messes me up.
Next one, we have Bees Gonzalez.
Well, you guys have seen him before. It's the typical Speedy Dot Axe build, but Gonzalez. Speedy Gonzalez. I don't really play this game competitively, so I don't really use him in PvP, but he's my son and he deserves a good build. This is a build, alright.
One of the builds of all time.
It's literally Fallen Violence kit. But you got Dragon Fang as the special. And that's an interesting special to have with times plus 4 and no slay.
They were cooking with this one.
Yeah. They were definitely.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. I would say the most, obviously Arcane Axe, just purely to get the slang. That's the biggest thing here. If you were to play him in Arena, you might need a dual skill. I'm not too familiar on everyone's BSTs. Give him the rally, give him a better, high scoring special. But besides that, he should be fine. Wooden Tackle is a very strong weapon. It just sucks that it's attack def plus, because attack plus 5. So it's attack def res plus 10 and then an extra attack def plus 5, which is really good. I do say, if you're not going to run an expensive special, go for a lower cooldown special, because as much as funny as Dragon Fang is, you really want to be using your times plus 4 to have it up at all times. So I'd also suggest, honestly, you could be fine locking him just to 1 range fighting, because I get fighting 2 range with Wooden Tackle. He has the healing, but he would appreciate the little bit extra speed and bonus damage when his special triggers. And it's still going to be a really good build. Just gotta hope we get a good arcane axe for faster units. Overall, I'm going to give this a good 9.5 out of 10 for the unit. Obviously, just switching around the special and giving him an arcane axe is really powerful. And then for art, I know everyone loves it. I'm just gonna give it a 2.5.
I'd say that like it is a pretty standard like God Axe build, but like Gonzalez has the stats to work with it. Like he has insanely high HP. I'd say that Dragon Fang is like a pretty weird choice. Like you could go with Draconic Aura and then still keep the Times Pulse 4 and stick him on Anima Season or like Astra Season, because then Worldbreaker Thor gives out that breath effect, and then you don't have to worry about running like something like Steady Breath, and then also more DR to go with that. I think Light Season could work pretty well too, because then you have Peony and Asker to give out the support for him to just kind of be a raid boss. But I don't know. I feel like offense is definitely the best way to use him. Defense, not so much, because like then you have to take into account for the distant AS solo, and then like units can just bait him out instead of trying to run into him. The build, I'd say a 7 out of 10. And I feel like the proportions on Gonzalez is like pretty weird this time, so I'd say like it's a 3 out of 5 for the art.
Alright, for SD duels, summer duels, this is so funny. I don't even know where to start with this. Dragon Fang, I don't really know what the idea was for it. Maybe he just really wants to flaunt his 68 attack. Just really get that good damage, 50% of attack special. There's definitely a better option, like Vile Astra is what you would want with him, Arcane Axe. And those basically are just changes that you just already need to make him a perfectly functional God Axe build. Because surprisingly enough, I've seen Gonzalez in SC duels, but he's not really the main unit of the team. It's usually support with Lucia's, Young Hector's, and stuff like that. He's just there as a placeholder to get the favor levels. But as a God Axe unit, you know how God units function. Be fast, resist stuff, get that huge TR, and survive and kill in return. So it's pretty generic, I'd say. But the wooden tackle in Dragon Fang definitely throws you off. I would give this, I guess, a 7 out of 10, just because of the unique choices made here, Dragon Fang. And as for the art, I think it's very wholesome. I'd give it a 4.
Alright. This is your standard run-of-the-mill brain rot build. You got Fallen by Love solo skill, you got Close Call 4, and you got Time Pulse 4. Except for units that will just go and kill him, like the new Zephyr, or any fast red, the Brave Crown, or Legendary Crown, Crown times Crown, or Crown. But in general, it's a good standard build. God Axe, Sword, Lances. God builds are always great for PvE because they're not meant to be lasting. I mean, they can last, but you know what I mean, self-sufficient. And so yeah, just grab that arcane downfall whenever you can, speed refine it, and you'll be good to go. That'll make it a good 10 out of 10 build. So with what you got now, honestly, yeah, I'd say for PvE, that is a good 10 out of 10. It's got great attack, great speed, which can speed up, and it's got no fall-up, so he shouldn't be inhabited. As for art, does he take constructive criticism? I don't want to be too mean.
Yes, go ahead.
You'll be fine. Just do it.
He looks like he's gonna turn to me and say it's clobbering time. 2 out of 5.
No.
Okay, Jojo.
B just says, I hope he does.
Okay. Any additional comments? Anything else, guys?
No.
No.
Not on my end.
I'm sorry, B. Please don't hurt me.
Okay, one question. What does Wooden Tackle do again?
Attack def plus 5, attack def minus X on the foe. X is equal to 25% of the unit's current HP up to 10, and then 10 HP after combat. It's the same as Seashell.
It's based on HP. This works for him. Yeah, that's really smart.
Yeah.
Good job, V. I like that part. I'm gonna increase my score actually because the synergy. I like the synergy. I'm gonna put 7.5 instead. Okay. There you go.
That heal is what kept him at from 9. That heal is what keeps him at 10.
Yeah, that healing is really nice.
That unconditional 10 heal means that if he just keeps tanking, he'll be up to full HP in no time. And the 66 is nothing to laugh at.
Yeah, that's huge. Like, holy crap. That's even without the BS seal too. Holy crap, man.
Yeah, that's natural.
All right, Kyle. Last one. We have Duo Hilda.
We have a duo Hilda from Kale. Here's my duo Hilda and Marianne, two of my favorite FE characters. Sunshade Staff gives some useful support while also letting her be a solid combat unit if necessary. Nudges for movement support, Light's Restraint help if she's forced to fight, as does Attack Speed Catch 4. Dazzling Shift offers both safety in combat and movement utility, which in conjunction with Nudge and Soaring Guidance gives her plenty of movement support options. Soaring Guidance is the cornerstone, because attack plus 9, flow, and movement support to nearby allies is no joke. Squad Ace BS is just for some unconditional extra stats, no strings attached. And yeah, I mean, this is offensive staff. This is an offensive staff unit. You're gonna use this. It's plus 10 max flower. This is a high invested Hilda. And yeah, Dazzling Shift. Dazzling Shift is really good on the flying staves. The other staves can't use it as effectively because just moving around is hard for them because, mountains and such. Calves can't even teleport sometimes. Soaring Guidance. At Soaring Guidance, you're going to go with flyers and infantries, which means, guess what? You get to warp for them. So, I would say that, again, this is a good unit. I have no improvements to say to make on this. This is good. She's got offense. She's got support. Overall, really good. I'd say this is 10 out of 10 for a unit. Art, I'm not the biggest fan of fan service. Summer banners usually don't do it for me. I'm gonna say 2.5.
Yeah, all AOK said I agree with. Like, she's definitely going to be really strong. And like all game modes, she just has so much to support with. I think like the only thing I'd change about the build is maybe have rescue instead of nudge, because then like you can use Soaring Guidance more effectively. But that's the only thing I'd really change. I think she'd be good on both offense and defense. I think like maybe Light Season is her best option, because then like a Sunshade Staff gives out like the breath effect, so then you don't have to like keep her always on Astra Season for the World Breaker effect. And like, because she gives out a breath effect to like her allies within 2 spaces, and then she's also able to heal after. And then for defense, I think she could work really well in like a Catria Ball team, because she has the attack to put out massive damage, and then Soaring Guidance will also help with the triangle attack effect. And that's really it. I'd say 10 out of 10 for the build, and then like a 3 out of 5 for the art.
Duo Hilda for Summoner Duels. First of all, I'm going to talk about her dual skill. Isolation is one of the best penalties you can probably inflict on the enemy team, because positioning wise, it's really important that you get your team into the box as soon as you can. And Hilda has this amazing range where you're like, I've seen players line her up on the enemy team at start of turn 1, isolate them, and they just cannot move because they're isolated. They can't use prepositional skills. They're stuck there, and that compromises their like turn 1 position, because we all know, a lot of SD players know how crucial it is that you get your team positioned right at start of turn 1, so you can like go ham on turn 2 and so on and so forth. Like, her dual skill is also reusable. Like, I believe it's every third turn she can use it again, and it has a range of like three rows and 3 columns, and that's really, really strong in my opinion. I think what really holds her back is the fact that she her staff is just simply outdated offensively wise. It's not that strong. Her plus attack speed +6 does require a solo effect. Like combined with Dazzling Shift, it doesn't really work because you have to be alone for that to activate. Although one of the best Duo Hilda builds I've seen in Duo and in Summer Duels is her equipped with Summer Larachel's new staff, the one that gives guard.
The Seaside Parasol?
Yes, guard menace, and also because it also affects save units. Like, if you give her that, she's effectively a unit that inflicts both guard and isolation. She's basically a duo mark, like a budget duo mark, but I think it's more consistent because of the amount of range she has. Not to mention that the Seaside Parasol gives more offense as well, because that penalty to resistance is huge on the new inheritable. Like, even I did that, and I've tried it for a couple of matches, and it works very well. Like, turn 1, you isolate them, and then in turn 2, they can't move at all. They can't reposition their team. And at the start of turn 2, she inflicts guard on both frontal units and their save units. And the reason why guard is so good, especially with how Seaside Parasol works, like, if you think about it, we have Bridal Tiki. Like, if you face against things like a Miracle Bridal Tiki who wants to charge a Miracle, if you have guard on her, there is a good chance that she won't be able to charge that at all. And also for Armored Flow Tikis even, like, you need to have if you have guard inflicted on her, she can't activate her Armored Flow, which might potentially allow you to survive as a ranged unit and kill her on the second follow-up attack. That's why I think it's really good that, like, I highly suggest you inherit the Seaside Parasol on her if you plan on using Duo Hilda on Summoner Duels. That's the only change I would make for this build. Otherwise, I'd say this is perfect. Because Soaring Guidance and Guidance 4, I'd say they're interchangeable. It really depends on your team composition. Soaring Guidance is really more for flyer-based teams. Like, I can see this Hilda being paired with Summer Ivy, for example. They can be a beacon for a lot of infantry and flyer allies out there and warp them all over the place. Guidance 4 would be helpful for armored units to move around. And yeah, it's really good. And Squad Ace BS I think it's the perfect seal for her because it increases her base attack, meaning more healing potential. That's like an effective 33 healing. And as for the suggestion for Nudge versus like Rescue or Return, Nudge as a whole in Summer Duels is it's good, but it really depends on what unit you're using it with. Like, for example, if you're using someone like Fallen Maria, Nudge is good because it pushes the unit forward while also granting them the miracle effect. For Hilda, Nudge was originally there because she does grant, I believe the breath effect was only during foe's attack. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's only during foe's attack. Because I have used Duo Hilda before, I think that's what I remember. So yeah, other than those things, this build is really good. Just Sunshade Staff plus Dazzling Shift does not have very good synergy with each other because of the solo effect. And yeah, the only change I would make is the Seaside Parasol. If you want to do Duo Hilda and Summer Duels, give it a try. I highly suggest it. As for my scoring, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. For the art, I have bias for Duo Hilda, plus I am a huge fan of Marianne as a whole, so I'm gonna give it a 5.
For PvE wise, it's got good offense. It's a healer, so naturally you don't want them to die, and they'll keep your team alive. The Nudge is a fun little idea because it can push them away, but it's as Lucas said, Sunshade Staff, Dazzling Shift, not very good synergy. Try to get that new La Rochelle staff. But there's not much to say about it because offensive staffs, they're great, they're fun, they're unique, they're hard to come across, and they're fragile as heck. So I would give the unit in itself with this build a 7 because you're not going to try to attack with it unless it's your last resort, regardless of each attack. And in terms of art, is doled out. I'd give it a 4 I mean, more or less a 3.5.
So is it 3.5 or 4?
3.5.
Okay, 3.5 for Joe. All right. Whew, we made it. We got everyone. So
We got everything.
final comments. Very good set of units. What do you think, guys? AOK, Mar, Jojo, what do you think of our submissions for our very first unit review session?
I think most of them were all like pretty unique and not something you'd encounter in like the everyday summoner duels or general PvP modes, which I really like.
Yeah, you're unlikely to see these units more than like once. So
Honestly, yeah, these are the units that you just find in like an arena or somewhere. It's like, neat, someone's doing a bit or a niche, and those are pretty cool to look at.
Okay. All right, guys. Thank you very much for participating. Thank you for our members who joined as well. So before we end, I do have one more thing that I want to include, though. This is for suggestions for how we can make future unit sessions better. So I'm gonna give everyone the chance to speak, or they can just chat in the box. As like, the question is, what would you change, or what are some suggestions you would make to make our unit review sessions better and flow more smoothly? Okay, so I'm just gonna go with the order we have right here. Who do we have? If you don't want to speak, then just chat in the box. Let's start with Vantage Sweeper. So Vantage Sweeper, how was your experience? What would you change for these sessions if you have any?
I think it'd be pretty cool if, like, the person who built the unit could have a chance to, like, talk about their build, their character that they built up, like, how they use them specifically, who they pair them with,
Okay.
and stuff like that.
All right. Thank you very much for your suggestion. Let's go with B. Did he leave?
B just dipped.
He dipped on me.
B says, "Oh hell no, I won't give my opinion." Bye.
All right, fine. Let's go with
Well, we're not getting B's opinion on it.
B. You suck. Okay, let's move with Kyle then. You can just type Kyle. I know you're not comfortable speaking.
I'll speak for him.
Okay. If they're still here, I'm not sure if
Yeah,
they.
they're typing.
Okay, there you go.
Got some time.
Meanwhile, let's ask Willow. Is this Exalt's better half? If yeah.
Yeah, that's me.
All right.
Personally, I agree with Vantage. I think it would be pretty neat if the person who submitted the unit could get to talk about how they use it as well. Because there are multiple ways a person could want to use a unit. And it may not be obvious at first glance.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for your suggestion.
No worries.
Okay. Let's move with Floxiana.
Hold on. Kid
Oh.
Holt said his.
Oh, okay.
He says, honestly, no particularly strong opinions here. I agree with the idea of giving the person who submitted the unit the opportunity to discuss the unit and how specifically they use them. So I feel like we're definitely agree to that next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna implement that next time, so you all have a chance to speak out.
Flock says, overall, I'd say this review session has been pretty good. Glad to see all the love put into the units.
Okay. Thank you.
Ruby?
I have her muted. Give me a second. How do I unmute someone?
Right click.
You know what, Ruby? You can just type it. I'll figure it out later. In the left hand, like in the unit reveal tab, go below Flocks, click Ruby's name. Oh, here it is. Right click it. Okay, technical difficulty. Let's go, Ab. Right click. Okay, shut up. I'm figuring it out, okay? The left click. You gotta right click. What am I doing? You gotta right click. I am right clicking. Wait.
You know what? Yeah, let's just have him type. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm terrible at this.
Oh my god. Ruby, are you still here?
Stop. Now, oh, they left. Oh no, he's
They're
still here.
muted for you, but they're muted for us.
Yeah, I muted him earlier because the noise and stuff. I don't know how to turn it back. I'm so sorry, guys. I suck at this. Shut up. I'll just ask.
Ruby says they're here. Can you give us your inputs?
Is Ruby here?
Yeah, they're in the
Okay.
the VC chat thing. I'll read it off.
Okay. I'll just ask Surtur then, meanwhile. If he's here. Surtur Enjoyer. Just any suggestions you have?
He's here. He's typing. He's typing.
He's typing. This is Scott.
Sir says everyone really already said what needed to be said, so yeah.
Okay.
Who needs cutting this out? Nah, let it stay. Let us be nerds.
Now let this stay. This is just showing people what we deal with every day.
This is content. We gotta get that mark so we can get advertisements. Ruby says, well, I honestly think this is a great chance to show members best units, and I also think at the end, let the members who built the units to say something about, for example, how they decide to give these units to the screen.
We have Cryoshal next. Let's see it. Let's hear the criticisms.
I actually have no criticisms. I like this style. What I would like though is for us to include other skills we'd like in our builds, because you know how like Citrine, how we could run both Glacies and like an AoE move. Maybe like, on the list we have certain skills that are also like parts of the build that we switch around. That'd be nice.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely do that, but
Yeah, it's just if you have alternative ways of using the unit, basically.
you can just put that in the description too. Like, besides the Glacies, I also use AoE, so we know. That kind of thing.
Kale Holt also said something he thinks would be neat is if once the review is done, the host talked about what their personal favorite units and builds shown were.
Oh no.
Yes.
We're gonna be in the gunpoint at that. Anyway.
I plead the fifth.
I like the Ula the most. I am now forcing you to respond.
No.
I personally like
Fair.
the wait, I forgot who. Wait, let me see. I'll go back to that. I like the I like Tharja the best, to be honest. I like her art, and I think Seashell Bowl, as they said, is really innovative as an inheritable skill. So yeah.
Horny on main.
Okay, we have Unlucky. Any opinions?
It's like it's really small, but it really bugs me that the main scores are out of 10, but the art is out of 5.
Yeah, that's just
It's
personal.
really bugging me for some reason.
That's just personal preference, nothing more to it.
Yeah, but like I think it's quite good, and I like obviously what everyone said as well.
Okay. Alright, thank you. Corin.
Dragon Boy.
I wasn't here the entire time, but
Oh.
it was fun. But I passed.
Oh, okay.
Okay.